Most people want a better life, but very few understand where real change begins. It does not start outside. It starts in the way you think, the way you react, and the habits you repeat every single day. This guide will show you how to take control of that process in a clear and practical way. You will learn how to become aware of your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. You will learn how to handle your emotions without letting them damage your decisions. You will build discipline that stays strong even when you do not feel motivated. You will see how to remove distractions, focus your energy, and stay consistent with your goals. There is more. You will understand how to shift your mindset, stay calm during pressure, and keep moving when things feel uncomfortable. You will connect your actions to a clear purpose and learn how to create value through what you do. Step by step, you will move toward a life that feels stable, focused, and meaningful. This is not about quick results or empty ideas. It is about daily action, honest self-reflection, and steady progress. If you are ready to stop repeating the same patterns and start building real change, stay with this and follow each step carefully. Chapter 1. Awaken your awareness and observe thoughts without judgment daily. Awareness is the starting point of real change. Before a person can build discipline, before they can control their emotions, before they can live with purpose, they have to see clearly what is happening inside their own mind. Most people move through the day on automatic. They wake up already thinking about what went wrong yesterday. They check their phone and let the world pour into their mind before they have even chosen their own thoughts. They react fast. They speak fast. They judge fast. They carry fear, stress, and old pain without stopping long enough to notice it. Then they wonder why life feels heavy. The truth is simple. A life that is not observed becomes a life that is controlled by habit. A mind that is never watched will repeat the same patterns again and again. If a person wants a better life, they must begin by paying attention. Awareness is not about becoming perfect. It is not about forcing yourself to think positive every second. It is not about pretending that bad thoughts do not exist. Real awareness is honest. It is calm. It is steady. It is the ability to notice what is moving through your mind without being dragged by it. A thought can appear, and you do not have to obey it. A feeling can rise, and you do not have to become it. A memory can return, and you do not have to live inside it. When you learn this one lesson, your whole life starts to change. You stop confusing every thought with truth. You stop treating every emotion like a command. You begin to see that the mind creates noise all day long, but you do not need to accept every sound it makes. Most suffering is increased by unconscious reaction. A person hears one sharp word and instantly feels disrespected. A person sees one small failure and instantly decides they are not good enough. A person experiences one difficult morning and assumes the whole day is ruined. These reactions may feel natural, but natural does not always mean wise. The Stoic mind does not rush to judge. It pauses, it examines, it asks what is under its control and what is not. It does not waste energy fighting reality. It chooses response over impulse. That is the kind of strength that changes a life from the inside out. Start with this simple practice. During the day, stop for a few seconds and notice what is going on in your mind. Do not try to fix it right away. Just see it. You might notice worry. You might notice anger. You might notice self-doubt. You might notice hope. You might notice pressure in your chest or tension in your jaw. Observe it without shame. Many people are afraid of their own thoughts because they believe having a negative thought means they are weak or damaged. That is not true. Thoughts arise for many reasons. Some come from fear. Some come from habit. Some come from old wounds. Some come from tiredness. Some come from outside influence. A thought is just a thought until you feed it, repeat it, and live by it. One of the fastest ways to grow is to create a small gap between what you feel and what you do. That gap is where freedom begins. When someone cuts you off in traffic, notice the heat that rises in your body. Notice the urge to curse or chase. Then breathe and choose not to act from that urge. When someone ignores your message, notice the story your mind wants to create. It may say they do not respect you, or they are abandoning you. Do not believe the first story without examination. When you make mistakes, notice the shame that tries to take over. Then remind yourself that a mistake is data, not a sentence. This kind of awareness is practical. It saves energy. It keeps peace. It prevents small moments from becoming big regrets. To build this habit, you do not need a perfect routine. You need repetition. In the morning, before you touch your phone, sit still for a moment and check your inner state. Ask yourself what you are feeling. Ask yourself what thoughts are already active. Ask yourself what kind of energy you are bringing into the day. Be honest. If you feel tired, say so. If you feel worried, say so. If you feel hopeful, say so. Honesty makes awareness stronger because you stop lying to yourself. A person who cannot tell the truth about their own mind cannot grow with clarity. They may stay busy, but they will remain confused. They may achieve things, but they will keep carrying inner conflict. In the middle of the day, pause again. It can be before lunch. It can be while walking. It can be while waiting in line. Bring your attention back to your mind. Notice whether you have become tense. Notice whether you are rushing. Notice whether you have started to repeat an old complaint. Many people live inside mental loops and do not even know it. They think the same negative thought every day and call it personality. They repeat the same fear and call it realism. They hold the same grudge and call it memory. Awareness breaks these loops. It shows you that much of your mental life is just repetition. Once you see the repetition, you can begin to stop it. In the evening, review the day without attacking yourself. This is important. Awareness without kindness becomes cruelty. Some people watch themselves only to criticize themselves. They notice every flaw and use that awareness as a weapon. That is not growth. That is self-punishment. The goal is not to shame yourself into change. The goal is to understand yourself well enough to guide yourself wisely. At the end of the day, ask a few simple questions. What thoughts came back again and again? What emotions were strongest? What situations triggered me? Where did I act from calm and where did I act from impulse? What can I do better tomorrow? This review does not need to be long. It needs to be consistent. A few honest minutes each day can do more than hours of self-blame. There is great power in learning to observe your thoughts as passing events. Imagine standing near a road and watching cars go by. You do not jump into every car. You do not become every car. You simply notice them passing. In the same way, thoughts can pass through your mind. Some are useful, some are harmful, some are random, some are old, some are wise, some are weak. If you sit still long enough, you begin to see that the mind is active all the time, but you are not required to follow every direction it gives. This realization brings peace. It also brings responsibility. Once you know you can observe, you can also choose. A lot of people suffer because they believe they must solve every problem at once. They think if they are anxious, they must immediately eliminate anxiety. If they are sad, they must instantly become happy. If they are unsure, they must force certainty. This pressure creates more stress. Awareness teaches a better way. Notice first, breathe second, decide third. Sometimes the right move is action. Sometimes the right move is patience. Sometimes the right move is rest. Not every thought deserves a reaction. Not every emotion requires a decision. Some things only need to be seen and allowed to settle. The more you practice awareness, the more you start noticing how thoughts shape behavior. A person who tells themselves they are always behind will move with stress and fear. A person who tells themselves they are powerless will avoid risk. A person who tells themselves they are not respected will become defensive. These thoughts do not stay in the mind. They shape posture, they shape tone, they shape relationships, they shape work, they shape health. That is why awareness matters so much. It reveals the hidden roots of repeated behavior. It shows you where your life is being shaped before your actions even begin. This is where discipline becomes useful. Awareness is not passive. It leads to action. Once you see a harmful thought pattern, you can challenge it. If your mind says, "I always fail," do not accept that statement immediately. Examine it. Is it fully true? Is it always true? What evidence supports it? What evidence opposes it? Often the mind speaks in extremes, but reality is usually more balanced. You may have failed in some areas. That does not mean you always fail. You may have been hurt by some people. That does not mean every person will hurt you. You may have struggled before. That does not mean struggle is your identity. Awareness gives you the chance to tell the truth more accurately. Another powerful step is to watch the language you use in your own mind. People talk to themselves all day long. They say things they would never say out loud to a friend. They call themselves lazy. They call themselves stupid. They call themselves broken. They repeat these words so often that the mind begins to treat them as fact. Do not speak to yourself with cruelty and then expect peace. Use language that is firm but fair. Speak to yourself like a wise coach, not a harsh enemy. Say, "I made a mistake, but I can learn." Say, "I feel afraid, but I can still act." Say, "I am struggling, but I am still responsible for my choices." This kind of self-talk is honest and strong. It builds character without destroying confidence. To deepen awareness, reduce noise whenever you can. Constant noise makes it harder to hear your own mind. If every free moment is filled with scrolling, video clips, random messages, and endless input, your attention gets scattered. Then you stop knowing what you really think. You start carrying other people's opinions as if they were your own. Create small pockets of silence during the day. Sit without music for a few minutes. Walk without checking your phone. Eat without rushing. Wash dishes or clean a room with full attention. These simple acts train the mind to stay present. Presence is not a luxury, it is a skill. And like any skill, it gets stronger with use. When life feels overwhelming, bring your attention back to the immediate moment. Ask what is happening right now, not what might happen later, not what happened years ago, only what is happening right now. In this moment, are you safe? In this moment, are you breathing? In this moment, what is the next useful action? The mind often creates suffering by jumping ahead to worst-case stories. Awareness brings you back to reality. Reality is usually smaller and more manageable than fear makes it appear. You must still have work to do. You must still have pain. You must still have uncertainty. But when you stop feeding imagined disasters, your strength returns. A very practical exercise is to label your thoughts when they arise. You do not need fancy language, just simple labels. Worry, anger, doubt, planning, kamasang, fear, hope, urgency. This helps you create distance. Instead of saying, "I am hopeless," you say, "Hopelessness is here right now." That small change matters. It reminds you that feelings come and go. They are states, not identities. You are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are the one who can notice them. That is a much stronger place to stand. If you want to grow spiritually, awareness is also the beginning of humility. Once you start observing your thoughts carefully, you begin to see how often the mind exaggerates, assumes, resists, and clings. You see how often pride wants to defend itself. You see how often fear wants control. You see how often desire wants immediate comfort. This observation does not make you weak. It makes you more honest. And honesty is the base of wisdom. A person who sees their own weaknesses clearly is in a better position to rise above them. A person who denies them stays trapped. There is also a deep calm that comes from understanding that not every thought needs to define your future. A single dark thought in the morning does not decide the whole day. A period of confusion does not decide the whole life. A moment of discouragement does not cancel your potential. Many people collapse because they treat temporary states like permanent facts. Awareness protects you from that mistake. It teaches you to watch the weather of the mind without becoming the weather itself. Some days are clear, some days are cloudy, some days bring pressure, some days bring lightness. None of that changes your responsibility to stay steady and keep moving. A strong person is not someone who never feels fear. A strong person is someone who can feel fear and still think clearly. A strong person is not someone who never gets angry. A strong person is someone who can feel anger and still choose what is right. A strong person is not someone who never doubts. A strong person is someone who can notice doubt and still continue. That is what awareness gives you. It does not remove every difficulty. It gives you the space to handle difficulty with wisdom. You can start today. Before sleep tonight, sit quietly for 5 minutes and watch your thoughts come and go. Do not argue with them. Do not chase them. Do not judge them. Just notice. You will probably discover how restless the mind can be. That is normal. The point is not to stop thought forever. The point is to stop being controlled by thought. When you notice a thought, you are no longer lost in it. That is growth. In the morning tomorrow, repeat the practice for a few minutes before the day begins. During the day, pause 3 times and check your inner state. At night, review what you saw, so keep doing this. Not once, not for a week only. Keep doing it until awareness becomes part of your character. The more you observe your mind, the more you will understand your life. You will see where your energy goes. You will see what drains you. You will see what strengthens you. You will see which people help you become steady and which habits keep you scattered. You will see how much of your stress comes from inner stories rather than outer events. That insight alone can transform your life. Once you understand your inner world, you stop living as a victim of it. You become a student of it. And once you become a student of your own mind, you can begin to master it. This is a quiet kind of power. It does not need attention. It does not need applause. It does not need drama. It grows in silence through repeated attention. It grows when you keep your word to yourself. It grows when you tell the truth about your thoughts. It grows when you refuse to be ruled by impulse. It grows when you choose calm over reaction and clarity over confusion. Over time, this practice changes how you speak, how you work, how you love, how you rest, and how you respond to hardship. It changes not only what you do, but who you become. Awareness is the first step because everything else depends on it. You cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot change what you keep denying. You cannot build peace on top of confusion. But once you begin to observe your thoughts without judgment, something important happens. Space opens, strength returns, choice becomes possible. And in that space, your life starts to move in a new direction. Stay with this practice. Be patient with it. Be honest in it. Be steady in it. A calmer mind leads to wiser decisions. Wiser decisions lead to better habits. Better habits lead to a better life. The journey begins the moment you stop running from your inner world and start watching it with courage. Chapter 2. Accept your emotions and take responsibility for your reactions. Every human being experiences emotions, yet very few learn how to handle them with clarity and responsibility. Many people either suppress what they feel or become controlled by it. Neither path leads to growth. Real strength comes from a different approach. It begins when you accept your emotions as they are and take full responsibility for how you respond to them. Emotions are signals. They are not enemies, and they are not commands. They are messages that rise from your inner world, shaped by your thoughts, your past experiences, your beliefs, and your current situation. Anger may signal that something feels unfair. Fear may signal uncertainty or risk. Sadness may signal loss or unmet needs. These signals are useful when you learn to read them correctly. But when you resist them or let them control your actions, they become sources of suffering. Many people are taught to ignore their emotions or feel ashamed of them. They are told to stay strong by pretending nothing affects them. Over time, this creates pressure inside. Unexpressed emotions do not disappear. They stay beneath the surface and influence behavior in subtle ways. A person who suppresses anger may become passive and resentful. A person who hides sadness may feel disconnected and empty. A person who avoids fear may miss important opportunities for growth. Acceptance is the first step toward freedom because it removes the need to fight what is already present. Accepting your emotions does not mean you agree with every feeling or act on it. It means you acknowledge it without denial. When anger arises, you say to yourself, "I feel angry right now." When fear appears, you recognize it without trying to push it away. This simple act creates space between the emotion and your response. Without that space, reactions become automatic. With that space, choice becomes possible. Responsibility begins where reaction ends. You cannot always control what you feel, but you can control what you do next. This is where many people lose control of their lives. They excuse harmful actions by blaming their emotions. They say they shouted because they were angry. They avoided responsibility because they felt anxious. They hurt others because they were overwhelmed. These explanations may describe what happened, but they do not justify it. A disciplined mind understands that emotions explain behavior but do not excuse it. Taking responsibility means accepting that your actions belong to you, regardless of how you feel. It means refusing to use emotions as a shield for poor choices. This is not about being harsh with yourself, it is about being honest. When you own your reactions, you gain the power to change them. When you blame your emotions, you give that power away. Start by noticing how quickly you react during emotional moments. Pay attention to your tone when you feel irritated. Notice your body when you feel stressed. Observe your decisions when you feel afraid. These moments reveal your current level of control. You may find that reactions happen faster than you realize. Words come out before you think. Actions follow impulses without pause. This awareness is important because it shows where improvement is needed. One practical step is to slow down your response. When an emotion rises, pause for a brief moment before acting. This pause does not need to be long. Even a few seconds can change the outcome. During that pause, take a steady breath and observe what you are feeling. This small action interrupts automatic behavior and allows your rational mind to engage. It gives you time to decide how you want to respond instead of reacting without thought. Another important step is to separate the emotion from the story your mind creates around it. For example, feeling hurt is one thing. Telling yourself that someone disrespects you or does not care about you is another. The emotion is real, but the story may not be accurate. When you mix the two, reactions become stronger and less controlled. By focusing on the raw feeling instead of the story, you reduce unnecessary intensity. Consider how often misunderstandings grow because of unexamined reactions. A simple comment can trigger anger if it is interpreted in the worst way. A delayed reply can trigger anxiety if it is seen as rejection. These interpretations happen quickly, often without evidence. Taking responsibility means questioning these assumptions before acting on them. Ask yourself if your reaction is based on facts or on fear. This simple question can prevent many unnecessary conflicts. Emotional discipline also requires you to face discomfort without escaping it. Many people react poorly because they try to avoid uncomfortable feelings. They distract themselves, lash out, or withdraw instead of staying present. Growth happens when you can sit with discomfort without needing immediate relief. This does not mean you ignore your needs. It means you give yourself time to understand what you are feeling before deciding what to do. For example, when you feel frustrated during a task, your first impulse may be to quit or switch to something easier. If you act on that impulse every time, you train your mind to avoid challenge. But if you stay with the discomfort and continue working, you build resilience. The same principle applies to emotional situations. When you stay present with difficult feelings instead of escaping them, you develop strength. Your reactions shape your relationships. Words spoken in anger can damage trust. Silence driven by fear can create distance. Avoidance caused by discomfort can weaken connection. When you take responsibility for your reactions, you protect the quality of your interactions with others. You become someone who responds with clarity instead of impulse. This builds respect, both for yourself and from others. It is also important to accept that emotions will not always be comfortable or pleasant. Seeking constant positive feelings is unrealistic. Life includes moments of stress, disappointment, and uncertainty. Trying to eliminate these experiences only creates more frustration. Instead, focus on how you handle them. A calm response in a difficult moment is more valuable than temporary comfort. A helpful exercise is to reflect on recent situations where your emotions influenced your actions. Think about a moment when you reacted quickly. Ask yourself what you felt at that time and how you responded. Then consider how you could have responded differently. This reflection is not about regret. It is about learning. Each situation becomes a lesson that prepares you for the next one. Another useful habit is to express emotions in a controlled way. Acceptance does not mean silence. It means choosing how to communicate what you feel without causing harm. Instead of raising your voice, speak clearly and calmly. Instead of blaming others, describe your experience. For example, say, "I felt frustrated when this happened," instead of accusing someone directly. This approach keeps the focus on understanding rather than conflict. Consistency is key. Emotional control is not built in a single day. It develops through repeated effort. Some days will feel easier than others. There will be moments when you react in ways you wish you had handled better. Do not let those moments discourage you. Learn from them and continue practicing. Progress comes from persistence, not perfection. Over time, you will notice changes in how you handle situations. You will feel less driven by impulse. You will think more clearly during emotional moments. You will respond with greater balance. This does not mean emotions disappear. It means they no longer control your behavior. You become steady even when your inner state is not. This level of control creates a sense of inner stability. You begin to trust yourself more because you know you can handle difficult situations without losing direction. This trust is powerful. It allows you to face challenges with confidence instead of fear. It strengthens your ability to make decisions that align with your values. Accepting your emotions and taking responsibility for your reactions is not a passive process. It requires attention, honesty, and discipline. It asks you to face your inner world without avoidance and to guide your actions with intention. This practice leads to clarity, stronger relationships, and a more stable life. Every moment offers a choice. You can react automatically or respond with awareness. You can blame your emotions or take responsibility for your actions. The direction you choose shapes your character. With consistent effort, you build a mind that is steady under pressure and capable of making wise decisions. This is the foundation of true personal growth. Chapter 3. Strengthen your discipline and build consistent daily growth habits. Discipline is the bridge between intention and results. Many people have clear goals and strong desires, yet they fail to move forward because their actions are inconsistent. They wait for motivation to push them, and when motivation fades, so does their effort. A disciplined life works differently. It does not depend on mood. It depends on structure, repetition, and a clear commitment to daily action. Discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build through small, repeated choices. Every time you choose to do what needs to be done, instead of what feels easy, you strengthen it. Every time you follow through on a plan, even when you do not feel like it, you train your mind to respect your decisions. This process is simple, but it requires honesty and consistency. Start by understanding the difference between goals and systems. A goal is the outcome you want. A system is the daily behavior that leads to that outcome. Many people focus only on goals and ignore the system. They think about success, but they do not plan their daily actions. Without a system, goals remain ideas. Discipline grows when you shift your focus from what you want to what you will do every day. Choose a few habits that directly support your growth. Keep them simple and realistic. Trying to change everything at once often leads to failure. A small set of consistent actions is far more effective than a large set of inconsistent efforts. For example, reading for 20 minutes each day, exercising for 30 minutes, or setting aside time to plan your day can create strong results over time. The key is not the size of the habit but the regularity of it. Once you choose your habits, decide when and where they will happen. Vague plans lead to weak execution. Clear plans create structure. Instead of saying you will exercise sometime, decide the exact time and place. Instead of saying you will learn something new, choose a specific hour for focused study. This removes confusion and reduces the chances of delay. The next step is to act even when you do not feel ready. There will be days when energy is low and distractions are strong. Waiting for the perfect moment will only slow your progress. Discipline means starting anyway. Often, action creates energy. Once you begin, it becomes easier to continue. The hardest part is the start. Once you overcome that initial resistance, momentum builds. Remove as many obstacles as possible. If your environment makes it difficult to follow your habits, discipline will feel harder than it needs to be. Set up your space in a way that supports your goals. Keep distractions out of reach during focused work. Prepare what you need in advance. If you plan to read, keep your book nearby. If you plan to exercise, have your equipment ready. These small adjustments reduce friction and make it easier to stay consistent. Accountability also plays a role in building discipline. When you track your actions, you become more aware of your behavior. A simple record of your daily habits can reveal patterns. It shows you where you are consistent and where you need improvement. This is not about perfection. It is about clarity. When you see your progress, it becomes easier to stay committed. Another important aspect is learning how to manage your time. Many people feel busy but achieve little because their time is not directed with purpose. Discipline requires you to decide what matters most and give it priority. This means saying no to activities that do not support your goals. It means limiting distractions that consume your attention without adding value. Protect your time as you would protect something important. Fatigue and stress can weaken discipline if not managed properly. A tired mind struggles to stay focused and make strong decisions. Rest is not a reward for finishing work. It is part of the process that allows you to continue working effectively. Sleep well, take short breaks when needed, and avoid pushing yourself to the point of burnout. Sustainable discipline depends on balance. It is also important to understand that progress is not always visible right away. Many habits work quietly in the background before showing results. This can be frustrating if you expect immediate change. Trust the process. When you repeat positive actions consistently, results will follow. The delay between effort and outcome is normal. Patience is part of discipline. There will be moments when you miss a day or fall short of your plan. This does not mean failure. What matters is how you respond. One missed action should not turn into a pattern. Return to your routine as soon as possible. Avoid negative self-talk that discourages you from continuing. Treat each day as a new opportunity to follow through. Your mindset toward effort also influences discipline. If you see effort as a burden, you will resist it. If you see it as a necessary step toward growth, you will accept it more easily. Discipline is not about forcing yourself into constant struggle. It is about choosing what is important and acting on it with commitment. Another useful approach is to connect your habits to your identity. Instead of saying you are trying to become disciplined, start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This shift changes how you behave. When your actions align with your identity, consistency becomes more natural. Each small action reinforces that identity. Focus on quality as well as consistency. Repeating a habit without attention does not create the same results as focused effort. When you work, give it your full attention. When you learn, aim to understand rather than rush. This improves the value of your time and strengthens your results. Discipline also involves making decisions in advance. When you plan your actions ahead of time, you reduce the need for constant decision-making. This saves mental energy and prevents hesitation. For example, planning your meals, your work schedule, and your study sessions removes uncertainty. You know what needs to be done, and you can focus on doing it. Avoid comparing your progress with others. Each person has a different starting point and pace. Comparison can create unnecessary pressure and distraction. Focus on your own improvement. Measure your progress against your past self. This keeps your attention where it belongs. Emotional control supports discipline. There will be times when frustration, boredom, or doubt appear. These emotions can pull you away from your habits if you let them. Recognize them without allowing them to control your actions. Stay focused on your plan. Emotions change, but your commitment should remain steady. Reward yourself for consistency in simple ways. Acknowledge your effort when you complete your tasks. This creates a positive association with discipline. The reward does not need to be large. Even a moment of recognition can reinforce the behavior. Long-term success is built on daily actions. What you do each day shapes your future. Small habits repeated over time create strong results. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. A steady effort maintained over months and years leads to lasting change. Discipline also brings clarity. When your actions are structured, your mind becomes less scattered. You know what needs to be done, and you focus on it. This reduces stress and increases efficiency. A disciplined routine creates a sense of control over your time and energy. As you continue practicing, discipline becomes less about effort and more about habit. Actions that once felt difficult become part of your normal routine. This is the result of repetition. Over time, your mind adapts to your behavior, and consistency becomes easier. There is no shortcut to building discipline. It requires daily effort and honest self-evaluation. It asks you to act when it is inconvenient and to stay committed when progress feels slow. The reward is a stronger mind and a more stable life. Each day gives you a chance to reinforce your habits. Each action is a step toward your goals. Stay focused on what you can control. Follow your plan with consistency. With time, your discipline will grow and your habits will shape the life you want to build. Chapter 4. Expand your perspective and question limiting beliefs holding you back. Most limits in life are not created by reality, but by the way a person interprets reality. The mind builds quiet boundaries based on past experiences, repeated thoughts, and what others have said over time. These boundaries begin to feel real even when they are not. A person may believe they are not capable enough, not smart enough, not confident enough, or not worthy of success. These beliefs shape decisions without being questioned. They guide behavior in the background, often without clear awareness. If you want to grow, you must learn to examine these beliefs and expand the way you see yourself and the world. A narrow perspective keeps you in familiar patterns. It pushes you towards safe choices and away from risk. It makes you avoid situations that could lead to growth. It also creates a false sense of certainty. You begin to think you already know what you can and cannot do. This assumption stops progress before it even begins. Expanding your perspective means accepting that your current view may be incomplete. It means staying open to new information and being willing to revise your thinking. Limiting beliefs often start early in life. A single comment from a teacher, a failure during a task, or repeated criticism can form a strong idea about your abilities. Over time, this idea becomes a fixed belief. You may carry it for years without noticing its effect. For example, someone who struggled with a subject in school may grow up believing they are not capable of learning complex things. This belief influences their choices, even when the original situation no longer applies. To change this, you must first identify the beliefs that hold you back. Pay attention to the thoughts that appear when you face a challenge. Notice what you tell yourself when something feels difficult. Statements like, "I cannot do this," "this is not for me," or "I will fail," are often signals of limiting beliefs. Write them down if necessary. Seeing them clearly makes them easier to examine. Once you identify a belief, question it carefully. Ask yourself where it came from and whether it is supported by real evidence. Many beliefs are based on past experiences that no longer define your current ability. A failure in the past does not mean failure in the future. A lack of experience does not mean lack of potential. By questioning your beliefs, you begin to weaken their control over your actions. It is also useful to consider alternative perspectives. Instead of accepting one interpretation, Explore other possibilities. If you believe you are not good at something, consider that you may simply need more practice. If you believe you are not confident, consider that confidence grows through repeated action. This shift does not require blind optimism. It requires realistic thinking that allows room for improvement. Exposure to new ideas can help expand your perspective. Read different viewpoints, learn from people with varied experiences, and observe how others approach challenges. This broadens your understanding of what is possible. It also shows that there are many ways to solve problems and achieve goals. When you see others succeed in areas you once thought were out of reach, it challenges your assumptions. Another important step is to test your beliefs through action. Thinking alone is not enough. You must gather real evidence by trying new things. Start with small steps. If you believe you are not capable of a certain skill, take a basic step toward learning it. Observe the outcome. Often, you will find that progress is possible with effort. Each small success weakens the belief that held you back. Fear often supports limiting beliefs. It creates hesitation and keeps you from taking action. Fear may tell you that failure will be permanent or that mistakes will define you. These thoughts are rarely accurate. Failure is part of learning. Mistakes provide information that helps you improve. When you accept this, fear loses some of its influence. It is also important to recognize the role of comfort. Staying within familiar limits feels safe. Challenging your beliefs requires stepping into uncertainty. This can feel uncomfortable at first. However, growth always involves some level of discomfort. By accepting this, you reduce resistance to change. You begin to see discomfort as a sign of progress rather than a warning to stop. Language plays a role in shaping your perspective. The words you use in your mind influence how you see situations. Replace absolute statements with more flexible ones. Instead of saying, "I cannot do this," say, "I have not learned this yet." This small change keeps the possibility of growth open. It encourages action instead of avoidance. Reflection is another useful tool. Take time to review your experiences and notice where your beliefs influenced your behavior. Ask yourself whether those beliefs helped or limited you. This process builds awareness and helps you make better decisions in the future. It is also helpful to focus on effort rather than outcome. When you measure yourself only by results, you may reinforce limiting beliefs if those results are not immediate. By focusing on effort, you recognize the value of trying and improving. This builds confidence over time and encourages persistence. Surround yourself with people who support growth. The environment you are in affects your thinking. If you are around individuals who limit themselves, it becomes easier to adopt similar beliefs. Being around those who challenge themselves and think broadly can influence your perspective in a positive way. Patience is important during this process. Changing beliefs takes time. They were built over years, and they do not disappear instantly. Consistent effort is required to replace them with more accurate and empowering views. Stay committed to questioning and testing your thoughts. Your identity is not fixed. It evolves based on your actions and decisions. When you challenge limiting beliefs, you create space for a new identity to form. You begin to see yourself as capable of learning, adapting, and improving. This shift influences how you approach challenges and opportunities. Take responsibility for your perspective. While external factors can influence your thinking, you have the ability to examine and adjust it. This responsibility gives you control over your growth. It allows you to move forward instead of staying restricted by old assumptions. Focus on what you can learn from each situation. This keeps your attention on progress rather than limitation. Every experience provides information that can improve your understanding. Use that information to refine your approach and expand your perspective further. As you continue this practice, you will notice changes in how you respond to challenges. Situations that once felt impossible may begin to feel manageable. You will approach new opportunities with curiosity instead of doubt. This shift opens paths that were previously hidden by limiting beliefs. Consistency is key. Question your thoughts regularly. Seek new perspectives often. Take action despite uncertainty. Over time, this process becomes part of your thinking pattern. It strengthens your ability to adapt and grow. Your perspective shapes your reality. When you expand it, you expand your possibilities. By questioning limiting beliefs, you remove barriers that exist only in the mind. This allows you to move forward with clarity and confidence. Each day offers a chance to challenge one belief that no longer serves you. Each step you take builds evidence that growth is possible. Stay committed to this process. With time and effort, your perspective will continue to widen, and your potential will become clearer. Chapter 5. Develop deep focus and eliminate distractions that weaken your progress. Progress depends on where your attention goes. Many people work hard, but still feel stuck because their attention is scattered. They start tasks with good intention, then drift into distractions without noticing. Minutes turn into hours, and at the end of the day, they feel busy but unfulfilled. Deep focus is what separates effort from meaningful results. It allows you to use your time with precision and move forward with clarity. The mind is naturally drawn to what is easy and stimulating. Quick entertainment, constant notifications, and endless scrolling pull attention away from important work. These distractions are not always obvious. Some appear harmless, but they break your concentration and reduce the quality of your output. When focus is interrupted repeatedly, your ability to think deeply weakens. You may still complete tasks, but they take longer and feel more difficult. Developing deep focus begins with understanding its value. When you give full attention to a single task, you think more clearly, make better decisions, and produce higher quality work. You also finish tasks faster because your mind is not constantly switching between activities. This creates a sense of progress that builds confidence and motivation. Start by identifying your most important tasks. Not all work carries the same weight. Some actions move you forward, while others only keep you occupied. Be honest about what truly matters. Choose 1 or 2 tasks each day that deserve your full attention. Commit to completing them with focus before moving on to less important activities. Create a clear environment for focused work. Your surroundings influence your behavior more than you may realize. If your workspace is cluttered or filled with distractions, your mind will follow the same pattern. Keep your space simple and organized. Remove items that pull your attention away from your task. If your phone is a source of distraction, place it out of reach or turn off unnecessary notifications. Time management plays a key role in focus. Set specific periods for deep work. During these periods, commit to working on one task without interruption. Even a short session of focused effort can be powerful if it is free from distractions. Over time, you can increase the length of these sessions as your ability to concentrate improves. Before starting a focus session, take a moment to prepare your mind. Decide exactly what you will work on and what you want to achieve during that time. This clarity reduces hesitation and helps you begin with purpose. Once you start, avoid switching tasks. Task switching may feel productive, but it reduces efficiency and weakens concentration. Distractions often come from within as well as from outside. Thoughts about other tasks, worries, or random ideas can interrupt your focus. When this happens, do not follow every thought. Acknowledge it and return your attention to your work. If a thought feels important, write it down and address it later. This keeps your mind clear without losing track of useful ideas. Energy management is just as important as time management. Your ability to focus depends on your mental and physical state. If you are tired or overwhelmed, concentration becomes difficult. Pay attention to when your energy is highest during the day. Schedule your most important tasks during these periods. This allows you to use your natural energy to your advantage. Breaks are necessary to maintain focus over time. Continuous work without rest leads to fatigue and reduced performance. Take short breaks between focus sessions to reset your mind. Use this time to step away from your task, move your body, or take a few deep breaths. Avoid turning breaks into long periods of distraction. Keep them intentional and controlled. Digital distractions require special attention. Many platforms are designed to capture and hold your attention. Without clear boundaries, they can consume large amounts of time. Decide when and how you will use digital tools. Limit their use during focused work periods. This may require discipline at first, but it becomes easier with practice. Another important step is to train your mind to tolerate boredom. Deep work is not always exciting. It requires patience and sustained effort. Many people turn to distractions as soon as they feel bored. This habit weakens focus over time. By staying with your task even when it feels slow, you build mental strength. This allows you to handle longer periods of concentration. Clarity of purpose also supports focus. When you understand why a task matters, it becomes easier to give it your attention. Connect your daily work to your larger goals. This creates a sense of direction that keeps you engaged. Without this connection, tasks may feel meaningless, leading to avoidance and distraction. Avoid overloading your schedule. Trying to do too many things at once spreads your attention thin. It becomes difficult to focus deeply on any single task. Choose a manageable number of priorities and give them the attention they deserve. This approach leads to better results and less stress. Consistency is key in developing focus. Like any skill, it improves with practice. Start with small periods of focused work and gradually increase them. Do not expect immediate mastery. There will be moments when your attention drifts. What matters is your ability to bring it back without frustration. Your mindset toward distractions also matters. Instead of seeing them as unavoidable, treat them as challenges to manage. Each time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your focus. Each time you give in, you reinforce the habit of distraction. This awareness helps you make better choices. It is also useful to reflect on how you spend your time. At the end of the day, review your actions. Notice when you were focused and when you were distracted. This reflection provides insight into your habits. Use it to adjust your approach and improve your routine. Physical health supports mental focus. Regular movement, proper rest, and balanced nutrition contribute to your ability to concentrate. Neglecting these areas makes focus more difficult. Taking care of your body is part of building a disciplined mind. Deep focus brings a sense of control. When you direct your attention with intention, you feel less scattered and more capable. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable because you approach them with clarity. This builds confidence and encourages further effort. Eliminating distractions does not mean removing all sources of enjoyment. It means creating balance. There is a time for focused work and a time for relaxation. When you separate these clearly, both become more effective. Work becomes more productive, and rest becomes more satisfying. Over time, the ability to focus deeply becomes a habit. You begin to approach tasks with full attention by default. Distractions lose their hold because your mind is trained to stay on track. This transformation does not happen overnight, but it is achievable with steady effort. Each day offers an opportunity to strengthen your focus. Choose your priorities carefully. Prepare your environment. Commit to periods of uninterrupted work. Reflect on your progress and adjust as needed. With consistency, your attention becomes a powerful tool that supports your growth and moves you closer to your goals. Chapter 6. Cultivate gratitude and shift your mindset toward positive daily actions. Gratitude is often misunderstood as a simple feeling, but in reality it is a disciplined way of seeing life. It is not about ignoring difficulty or pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing to notice what is still working, what is still available, and what is still within your control. This shift in attention changes how you think, how you act, and how you experience each day. Without it, the mind naturally drifts toward complaints, comparison, and dissatisfaction. The human mind has a tendency to focus on problems. This is not a flaw, but a survival habit. It scans for threats and tries to protect you. However, In modern life, this habit can become excessive. You begin to see only what is missing or what went wrong. Even when things are going well, the mind finds something to criticize. Over time, this creates a negative outlook that drains energy and reduces motivation. Gratitude interrupts this pattern. It brings balance by reminding you of what is already present. Practicing gratitude does not require grand events. It begins with small observations, the ability to breathe without difficulty, access to food, a safe place to rest, the presence of people who care about you, or even a quiet moment during a busy day. These are often overlooked because they are familiar. Familiarity reduces attention, and what is not noticed is not valued. By bringing awareness to these simple aspects, you strengthen your appreciation for life as it is. Start your day with a brief moment of reflection. Before engaging with tasks or external input, take a few minutes to identify a few things you are grateful for. Be specific. Instead of general statements, focus on clear details. This could be the opportunity to learn, the chance to improve, or the support you receive from others. This practice sets a steady tone for the day. It does not remove challenges, but it prepares your mind to face them with balance. Gratitude also affects how you respond to difficulty. When something does not go as planned, the mind may react with frustration or disappointment. This is natural, but it does not have to dominate your response. After acknowledging the problem, shift your attention to what remains under your control. There is always something you can learn, adjust, or improve. Gratitude in this context is not about denying the problem. It is about maintaining perspective so that the problem does not define your entire experience. Another important aspect is how gratitude influences your actions. When you appreciate what you have, you are more likely to take care of it. You treat your time with respect. You make better decisions. You approach your responsibilities with a sense of purpose. This creates a cycle where positive actions lead to better outcomes, which then reinforce your sense of gratitude. Your environment also plays a role in shaping your mindset. Surround yourself with reminders that encourage appreciation. This could be a simple note, a journal, or a daily habit of writing down what you value. These small actions keep your attention aligned with what matters. Over time, this becomes a natural way of thinking rather than a forced practice. It is also useful to express gratitude toward others. When you acknowledge the efforts and presence of people in your life, you strengthen your relationships. A simple message, a clear statement of appreciation, or a moment of recognition can have a meaningful impact. This does not require elaborate gestures. Consistent and sincere acknowledgement is enough. Comparison is one of the main obstacles to gratitude. When you constantly measure your life against others, you focus on what you lack. This creates dissatisfaction even when your situation is stable. Shift your focus from comparison to progress. Look at how far you have come and what you are building. This keeps your attention on your own path rather than on external standards. Gratitude also supports emotional stability. When you train your mind to notice what is working, you reduce the intensity of negative reactions. Challenges still exist, but they do not feel overwhelming. You develop a balanced view that allows you to stay calm and focused. This stability improves decision-making and strengthens your ability to handle pressure. Daily actions are shaped by your mindset. When your thoughts are negative, your action tends to follow the same pattern. You may delay tasks, avoid responsibility, or act without purpose. A grateful mindset encourages constructive behavior. You are more likely to take initiative, stay consistent, and act with intention. This leads to steady improvement over time. A practical step is to end your day with reflection. Before resting, review your actions and identify moments where you experienced something positive. This could be progress on a task, a useful conversation, or a moment of clarity. Acknowledge these moments without exaggeration. This helps your mind recognize value in everyday experiences. It is important to remain realistic. Gratitude is not about forcing positivity in every situation. Some moments are difficult and require direct attention. In these cases, focus on handling the situation effectively. Once it is addressed, return to a balanced perspective. This prevents you from staying stuck in negative thinking. Consistency is essential. Practicing gratitude once in a while will not create lasting change. It must be repeated daily. Over time, this repetition reshapes your thinking patterns. You begin to notice positive aspects without effort. This shift becomes part of your character. Your language also influences your mindset. The way you describe your experiences affects how you perceive them. Use clear and balanced language when reflecting on your day. Avoid extreme statements that exaggerate problems. This keeps your thinking grounded and accurate. Gratitude does not remove ambition. It supports it. When you appreciate what you have, you build from a stable foundation. You pursue goals with clarity rather than desperation. This leads to more sustainable progress. Another important element is patience. Results from this practice may not appear immediately. The change happens gradually as your thinking adapts. Stay committed to the process. Trust that consistent effort will lead to a stronger mindset. Gratitude also improves your ability to stay present. When you focus on what is available now, you reduce unnecessary worry about the future or regret about the past. This presence allows you to act more effectively in the current moment. Your habits reinforce your mindset. Pair gratitude with other positive actions. For example, combine it with planning your day, reviewing your goals, or preparing for the next task. This integration makes it part of your routine. Over time, you will notice that your reactions change. Situations that once caused frustration may feel more manageable. You will respond with clarity instead of impulse. This is the result of a balanced perspective. Each day provides opportunities to practice gratitude. Use them intentionally. Notice what is working. Acknowledge it. Act with purpose. This approach strengthens your mindset and supports your growth. A steady focus on appreciation leads to better decisions and consistent progress. It creates a foundation where positive actions become natural. By maintaining this practice, you build a life that is not only productive, but also grounded in clarity and purpose. Chapter 7. Build resilience and stay committed during challenges and uncomfortable moments. Resilience is the ability to remain steady when life becomes difficult. It is not the absence of pain. It is not pretending that problems do not hurt. It is the decision to keep moving with wisdom, even when the path becomes hard. Many people imagine strong people never bend, but real strength is different. Real strength is the capacity to feel the weight of struggle without surrendering to it. It is the ability to stay committed when your energy drops, when results are delayed, and when the pressure around you rises. Every meaningful life includes moments of discomfort. Plans fail, people disappoint you. Progress slows, health changes, work becomes demanding, emotions rise. These moments do not mean your life is broken. They mean you are living in reality. A person who grows only when life is easy has not yet learned resilience. A person who remains committed during difficulty is building character that lasts. The first step in resilience is accepting that discomfort is part of growth. Many people resist this truth because they want progress without strain. They want the reward without the effort. They want confidence without uncertainty. They want strength without testing. Life does not work that way. A muscle becomes stronger because it faces resistance. The mind does as well. When you meet challenge honestly, you develop the inner structure to carry more weight later. This does not happen through theory. It happens through repeated response under pressure. When a hard moment arrives, your first responsibility is to stay grounded. Do not rush to conclusions. Do not turn one painful event into a full story about your future. A bad day is not proof of a bad life. A setback is not proof that you are incapable. A delay is not a final verdict. The mind often makes a situation larger than it truly is. Resilience begins when you refuse to feed that exaggeration. Stay with the facts. Name what is happening clearly. Then focus on the next useful step. A resilient person does not waste energy asking why life is unfair every minute. That question may appear and it is human, but staying there weakens action. A stronger question is, what can I do now? This moves the mind from pain into responsibility. You may not be able to change the event itself, but you can choose your response. That choice is where your power lives. It is easy to feel strong when everything is going well. The real test is how you think when life pushes back. Discomfort often reveals what you depend on too much. Some people depend on comfort to feel stable. Others depend on praise. Others depend on quick results. When those supports disappear, they feel lost. Resilience asks you to build a deeper center. Your peace cannot rest only on favorable conditions. It must rest on character, values, and steady habits. This is why disciplined people often handle stress better. They have trained themselves to keep moving even when the environment is not ideal. A practical way to grow resilience is to face small discomforts on purpose. Do not wait for life to train you through crisis alone. Practice doing difficult but necessary things before they become emergencies. Keep your promises when you feel lazy. Finish tasks you started. Wake up when you said you would. Stay present during conversations that require patience. Hold yourself to standards even when nobody is watching. These small acts teach your mind that discomfort is not a reason to quit. Another essential part of resilience is emotional endurance. Some moments do not need immediate solutions. They need steady presence. If you are dealing with disappointment, allow yourself to feel it without collapsing into it. If you are facing uncertainty, stay patient long enough for clarity to appear. If you are under stress, slow your breathing and reduce mental noise. A calm nervous system improves your ability to think. This is not weakness, it is wise self-management. Resilience grows when you stop personalizing every setback. Sometimes life is difficult because circumstances are difficult. Not every challenge is proof that you failed. Not every problem means you made a terrible decision. When you take everything personally, your mind becomes heavy with blame. When you assess each situation with clarity, you can separate what needs correction from what simply needs endurance. That distinction matters. It keeps you from exhausting yourself with unnecessary guilt. You also build resilience by staying connected to your purpose. When life becomes uncomfortable, purpose gives your effort direction. Without purpose, difficulty feels empty and heavy. With purpose, difficulty becomes meaningful. You understand why you are enduring it. You remember what kind of person you want to become. This helps you continue even when the work is unpleasant. A clear purpose does not remove pain, but it gives pain a place in the larger process. It helps to remember that your current struggle is not the whole story. People often judge themselves from the lowest point of a season. That is a mistake. A difficult chapter does not define the full book. When you are in the middle of hardship, your view is limited. That is why steady action is so important. You may not see the full outcome yet, but your choices are still shaping it. Continue doing the next right thing. Continue showing up. Continue building. Time will reveal the strength you are forming now. Resilience is also linked to the way you speak to yourself during pressure. Harsh self-talk can make a difficult situation worse. If you tell yourself that you are weak every time you struggle, you drain your own resolve. Speak with honesty but also with firmness. Say that this is hard and that you are still moving. Say that you are tired and that you will still complete the task. Say that you feel unsure and that you will keep learning. This kind of inner speech supports action instead of collapse. There is value in remembering past times when you survived hardship. You have already handled more than you sometimes give yourself credit for. You have faced disappointment before. You have endured moments that once felt too heavy. You are still here. That matters. Reflection on past endurance builds trust in your ability to keep going. It reminds you that pain does not always last and that you are more capable than fear suggests. Resilience also requires flexibility. Being committed does not mean being rigid. Sometimes the method must change even when the goal stays the same. A resilient person adapts without quitting. They adjust their approach when needed, They learn from obstacles instead of becoming stuck in one plan. This flexibility keeps progress alive. It prevents frustration from turning into surrender. During tough periods, protect the basic things that support your strength. Rest properly. Eat in a way that gives you stable energy. Move your body. Keep your environment as calm as possible. Avoid surrounding yourself with constant chaos when you can reduce it. These simple actions matter because resilience is not only mental, it is physical and emotional too. A tired body and a crowded mind make endurance harder. Staying committed in uncomfortable moments also means accepting delayed reward. Not every hard effort gives quick, visible results. Sometimes the reward is quiet and delayed. You become stronger before you see the proof. You learn patience before you get the outcome. You build character before you get recognition. This delay can test your resolve, but it also separates shallow motivation from real commitment. A person with resilience does not wait for inspiration to return before acting. They act because the action matters. They continue because their values matter. They refuse to let temporary difficulty make permanent decisions for them. That is a powerful way to live. It creates trust in yourself. It makes your life less fragile. It gives you the ability to keep your course when others lose theirs. When you endure with wisdom, you become harder to break and easier to trust. People notice your steadiness. More importantly, you notice it too. You begin to understand that you can hold discomfort without losing direction. You can face pressure without abandoning your principles. You can experience difficulty without letting it destroy your identity. Resilience is built one moment at a time. One difficult conversation, one day of effort, one choice to continue, one refusal to quit too soon. Keep showing up when it is hard. Keep moving when the path feels steep. Keep your mind clear and your actions steady. The moments that test you are also the moments that shape you. Chapter 8. Connect with purpose and align your actions with life goals. Purpose gives direction to life. Without it, even strong effort can feel scattered and empty. A person may stay busy all day and still feel lost because busyness alone does not create meaning. Real progress begins when your actions connect to something deeper than comfort, pressure, or habit. When your life goals are clear, your mind becomes more stable, your choices become more deliberate, and your energy starts moving in one direction instead of being pulled apart by every distraction. Many people live by reaction. They wake up, respond to messages, handle tasks, solve problems, and move through the day without stopping to ask why they are doing any of it. Over time, this creates a life that looks active but feels disconnected. Purpose changes that. It gives your effort a reason. It helps you understand what matters most so you can stop giving your time to things that drain you and start giving your time to things that build your future. Purpose is not always something dramatic. It does not have to be a grand mission that appears all at once. For many people, purpose begins with a simple truth. You want to live with integrity. You want to grow. You want to serve. You want to build something meaningful. You want to become someone you respect. These desires may seem small at first, but they are powerful when you take them seriously. They shape the way you work, think, and respond to life. The first step is honesty. You must face the gap between the life you say you want and the life your daily habits are creating. Many people talk about goals, but their actions tell a different story. They say they want peace, but they fill their day with chaos. They say they want success, but they waste their best hours. They say they want growth, but they avoid discomfort. Purpose requires truth. It asks you to stop pretending and start examining your patterns. Once you do that, change becomes possible. To align your actions with your life goals, begin by choosing a few goals that actually matter to you, not goals that look impressive to others, not goals that are borrowed from social pressure. Choose the ones that reflect the kind of life you truly want. Maybe you want to build financial stability. Maybe you want better health. Maybe you want stronger relationships. Maybe you want to create work that matters. Maybe you want inner peace and self-respect. These goals should come from honest reflection, not from comparison. Once your goals are clear, break them into actions you can take now. A life goal is only useful when it connects to daily behavior. If your goal is to become healthier, your daily actions may include walking, sleeping well, drinking more water, and choosing better food. If your goal is to build a meaningful career, your daily actions may include learning, practicing, improving your skills, and staying consistent. If your goal is to become more disciplined, your daily actions may include keeping your promises, reducing excuses, and following a routine. Purpose becomes real when it enters your schedule. A major reason people lose connection with purpose is that they focus too much on the distant result and not enough on the present process. They think only about where they want to be and ignore what must happen today. This creates frustration because the future feels far away. A wiser approach is to treat every day as part of the path. The work you do today is not separate from your goal. It is the path itself. This mindset gives meaning to small actions that might otherwise feel ordinary. It also helps to ask better questions. Instead of asking only what is urgent, ask what is important. Instead of asking what is easiest, ask what builds the kind of life you want. Instead of asking what will feel good right now, ask what will still make sense later. These questions sharpen your thinking. They help you choose with intention rather than impulse. A purposeful life is built through repeated decisions that honor what matters most. Your environment should support your purpose, not fight against it. If your surroundings constantly pull you away from your goals, your progress will feel harder than necessary. Look at the people, habits, spaces, and routines that shape your day. Do they help you stay aligned, or do they weaken your focus? Sometimes purpose is lost, not because a person lacks ambition, but because their environment keeps telling them to settle. Be willing to change what needs to change. This may mean clearing away distractions, protecting your time, or spending less energy on influences that do not fit your values. There is also power in connecting purpose to service. A life goal becomes more meaningful when it is linked to something beyond personal comfort. Ask yourself who benefits when you grow stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. Maybe your family benefits. Maybe your future children benefit. Maybe your community benefits. Maybe your work becomes more useful to others. When you understand that your growth affects more than just you, your commitment deepens. Service gives purpose a broader shape and keeps selfishness from shrinking your vision. Purpose does not remove difficulty. In fact, it often makes difficult work feel more worthwhile. A person with purpose still gets tired. They still face doubt. They still experience setbacks. The difference is that they know why they are continuing. That knowledge gives them strength when motivation is low. It reminds them that their effort is not random. It belongs to something larger. This kind of clarity helps you stay on course when short-term feelings try to distract you. You also need patience with your process. Purpose develops over time. Sometimes it becomes clearer through action, not just thought. You may not understand everything at the start, and that is normal. Keep moving, keep learning, keep testing what feels aligned. As you grow, your understanding of your purpose may deepen. What once felt vague can become more specific through experience. Trust that clarity can emerge gradually as long as you stay honest and engaged. One of the best ways to stay connected with purpose is to review your life regularly. At the end of the week, look at how you spent your time. Ask whether your actions matched your values. Ask whether your choices brought you closer to your goals or farther from them. This kind of review keeps you awake. It prevents drift. It helps you catch patterns before they become habits. A person who checks their direction often is less likely to lose the road. Purpose also requires courage. Sometimes the right path is not the most popular one. Sometimes it asks you to say no. Sometimes it asks you to be patient while others rush. Sometimes it asks you to do quiet work that nobody praises. A purpose-driven life is not always flashy, but it is solid. It may not always attract attention, but it builds real strength. That strength becomes visible in the quality of your decisions and the steadiness of your character. If you want your actions to match your goals, stop waiting for perfect conditions. You do not need perfect mood, perfect timing, or perfect confidence. You need willingness and consistency. Begin with what you have. Use the time available to you now. Make your next decision a little better than the last one. Purpose grows through movement, not through waiting. The mind often drifts when it is not anchored. Purpose is that anchor. It keeps you from being pulled in every direction by distraction, pressure, or doubt. It helps you remember who you are becoming. It gives your discipline a reason. It gives your sacrifice meaning. It gives your days a sense of order. A life aligned with purpose feels different. You still work, but the work feels connected. You still face stress, but it does not define you. You still have ordinary days, but they no longer feel empty. Every action becomes part of something larger. This is where peace and progress begin to support each other. Stay close to what matters. Choose your goals with honesty. Turn them into daily actions. Review your direction often. Protect your time. Serve with intention. Remain steady when the path is unclear. Purpose is not built in one moment. It is built through repeated alignment between what you believe and how you live. Chapter 9. Serve others with intention and create value through your efforts. A meaningful life expands beyond personal gain. When your actions begin to create value for others, your work takes on a deeper purpose. Serving others with intention is not about losing yourself or ignoring your own needs. It is about understanding that your growth becomes more powerful when it contributes to something outside of you. This shift transforms effort into impact and gives your daily actions a clear direction. Many people focus only on what they can get from life. They measure success by what they receive, what they own, or how they are seen. This approach can bring short-term satisfaction, but it often leaves a sense of emptiness over time. A different path exists. When you begin to focus on what you can give, your perspective changes. You start asking better questions. You ask how your skills can help someone. You ask how your work can solve a problem. You ask how your presence can improve a situation. These questions guide your behavior in a constructive way. Serving others does not require a perfect position or large resources. It begins with awareness of the people around you. Pay attention to what others need. Listen carefully when someone speaks. Observe where support is missing. Sometimes value is created through simple actions. A clear explanation can help someone understand. A patient response can ease tension. A consistent effort can make a team stronger. These actions may seem small, but they build trust and connection. Intention matters. Serving without intention can lead to burnout or resentment. Serving with intention means you choose your actions based on clarity. You understand why you are helping and how it aligns with your values. This keeps your effort steady and meaningful. It prevents you from acting only out of pressure or expectation. When your service is guided by purpose, it becomes sustainable. Creating value requires you to develop useful skills. You cannot offer meaningful support if you do not continue improving yourself. Growth and service are connected. As you become more capable, your ability to contribute increases. This is why personal development is not separate from serving others. It is part of it. When you learn, practice, and refine your abilities, you expand the ways you can help. Focus on quality in your work. Value is not created through careless effort. It comes from attention to detail, consistency, and a willingness to improve. Whether you are completing a task, communicating with others, or building something new, aim to do it well. This approach builds respect and trust. People recognize effort that is thoughtful and reliable. It is also important to understand the difference between helping and enabling. Serving others does not mean removing all challenges from their path. Sometimes the best support is guiding someone to find their own solution. Offer direction, share knowledge, and encourage effort, but allow others to take responsibility for their actions. This approach builds strength rather than dependence. Your attitude influences the value you create. If you approach service with frustration or reluctance, the quality of your effort decreases. If you approach it with focus and willingness, your impact improves. This does not mean you will always feel motivated. It means you choose to act with intention regardless of your mood. This discipline keeps your actions aligned with your values. Respect your boundaries. Serving others should not come at the cost of your stability. When you give beyond your capacity, your effectiveness decreases. Know when to rest, when to say no, and when to protect your time. Balanced service allows you to continue contributing without losing your direction. Another important aspect is consistency. Occasional effort creates temporary impact. Regular effort builds lasting value. Make service part of your routine. Look for opportunities each day to contribute in a meaningful way. This habit strengthens your sense of purpose and reinforces your commitment to growth. Feedback is a useful tool. Pay attention to how your actions affect others. Notice what works and what does not. Adjust your approach based on this information. This process helps you improve the value you provide. It also shows respect for those you are serving, because you are willing to learn and adapt. Humility plays a role in service. Recognize that you do not have all the answers. Be open to learning from others. This mindset allows you to grow and prevents you from becoming rigid. It also makes your interactions more genuine. People respond better to those who are willing to listen and learn. Serving others also strengthens your own character. It teaches patience, responsibility, and awareness. It challenges you to think beyond your own needs. This expansion of perspective contributes to personal growth. You begin to see your actions as part of a larger system rather than isolated efforts. There will be moments when your efforts are not recognized. Do not let this discourage you. The value of your work is not always measured by immediate response. Focus on the quality of your actions rather than external approval. Recognition may come later, or it may not come at all. What matters is that your work remains aligned with your principles. Collaborations enhances your ability to create value. Working with others allows you to combine strengths and address larger challenges. Respect different viewpoints and communicate clearly. This approach improves outcomes and builds stronger relationships. Dorifus also requires clarity in communication. Express your ideas in a way that others can understand. Listen actively and respond thoughtfully. Clear communication reduces confusion and increases effectiveness. It ensures that your efforts lead to meaningful results. Reflect on your actions regularly. Consider how you contributed during the day. Identify areas where you can improve. This reflection keeps your service intentional and focused. It prevents your actions from becoming automatic or careless. Gratitude supports service. When you appreciate the opportunity to contribute, your mindset shifts. You see service as a privilege rather than a burden. This perspective improves the quality of your effort and strengthens your commitment. Value creation is not limited to one area of life. It applies to work, relationships, and personal interactions. In every setting, you have the chance to improve something, solve a problem, or support someone. Use these opportunities with intention. Stay focused on long-term impact. Quick results may feel satisfying, but lasting value comes from sustained effort. Build habits that allow you to contribute consistently over time. This approach creates meaningful change. Your actions influence more than you may realize. Small efforts can have a lasting effect on others. A moment of support can change someone's direction. A clear idea can solve a problem. A steady presence can build trust. Do not underestimate the value of your contribution. Serving others with intention and creating value through your efforts leads to a balanced and meaningful life. It connects your growth with a larger purpose. It strengthens your character and improves your relationships. By focusing on contribution, you move beyond self-centered thinking and build something that matters. Chapter 10. Integrate higher consciousness and live with clarity, peace, and growth. Higher consciousness is not something distant or abstract. It is a way of living where your thoughts, actions, and decisions come from clarity instead of confusion. It is the result of steady awareness, emotional responsibility, discipline, perspective, focus, gratitude, resilience, purpose, and service, working together in your daily life. It is not achieved in one moment. It is built through consistent practice until your inner state becomes stable and your outer actions reflect that stability. Many people search for peace while continuing habits that create conflict. They want clarity but avoid honest reflection. They want growth but resist discomfort. This creates a gap between what they seek and how they live. Integration closes that gap. It means aligning what you know with what you do. It means applying the lessons you have learned instead of collecting ideas without action. Clarity begins with truth. You must be willing to see your life as it is, not as you wish it to be. This requires careful observation of your thoughts, your patterns, and your decisions. It asks you to notice where you are acting with intention and where you are acting out of habit. It also asks you to recognize where you are avoiding responsibility. This level of honesty is not always comfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Peace is not the absence of challenge. It is the ability to remain steady while facing challenge. It comes from accepting what you cannot control and focusing on what you can. When you stop resisting reality, your mind becomes less reactive. This allows you to respond with calm and purpose. Peace grows when your actions match your values. When there is no conflict between what you believe and what you do, your mind settles. Growth is a continuous process. It does not end when you reach a certain point. Each stage of development reveals new areas for improvement. This is not a burden. It is an opportunity to keep refining your character and expanding your understanding. When you see growth as part of your life rather than a temporary effort, you stay engaged with the process. To integrate higher consciousness, begin with your daily routine. Your routine reflects your priorities. If your days are unstructured, your progress will be inconsistent. Create a simple structure that supports your values. Include time for reflection, focused work, rest, and meaningful interaction. This structure does not need to be rigid. It needs to be clear enough to guide your actions. Awareness remains essential. Continue observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Notice how they influence your behavior. When you see patterns that do not serve you, address them directly. Replace them with actions that align with your goals. This ongoing observation keeps your mind clear and prevents you from returning to old habits. Emotional balance supports clarity. Accept your feelings without allowing them to control your decisions. Use them as information rather than commands. This approach helps you remain stable in different situations. It also improves your ability to make thoughtful choices. Discipline ensures consistency. Without it, even clear understanding will not lead to results. Follow through on your commitments. Maintain your habits even when motivation is low. This strengthens your ability to act with intention rather than impulse. Perspective helps you stay grounded. Continue questioning assumptions and expanding your understanding. Avoid fixed thinking that limits your growth. Stay open to learning and adapting. This flexibility allows you to respond effectively to new challenges. Focus directs your energy. Protect your attention from unnecessary distractions. Give your time to tasks that support your goals. This improves the quality of your work and accelerates your progress. Gratitude keeps your mindset balanced. Recognize what is working in your life while addressing what needs improvement. This prevents negativity from dominating your thinking. It also supports a steady and constructive outlook. Resilience allows you to continue during difficulty. Challenges will appear, but your response determines your progress. Stay committed to your path even when results are delayed. This builds strength and confidence. Purpose gives direction to your actions. Align your daily behavior with your long-term goals. This connection ensures that your efforts are meaningful and consistent. It also prevents you from drifting into activities that do not support your growth. Service expands your perspective. Contributing to others adds depth to your life. It reminds you that your growth has value beyond yourself. This creates a sense of connection and responsibility. Integration requires patience. You will not apply every principle perfectly. There will be moments of error. Use these moments as learning opportunities. Adjust your approach and continue. Consistency over time leads to improvement. Your environment influences your state of mind. Keep your surroundings organized and supportive of your goals. Limit exposure to unnecessary noise and negativity. This helps maintain clarity and focus. Rest is part of growth. Allow time for recovery. A tired mind struggles to think clearly and act with intention. Proper rest improves your ability to maintain balance and discipline. Reflection strengthens awareness. At the end of each day, review your actions. Identify where you acted with clarity and where you reacted without thought. Use this information to improve the next day. This practice keeps your progress steady. Your language shapes your thinking. Use clear and balanced words when describing your experiences. Avoid exaggeration and negative extremes. This keeps your perspective accurate and stable. Higher consciousness is expressed through simple actions done consistently. It is visible in how you speak, how you work, how you respond to pressure, and how you treat others. It is not separate from daily life. It is present in every decision. Stay committed to your principles. Let them guide your behavior. When faced with choices, return to what you know is right. This creates consistency between your inner state and your actions. Over time, integration becomes natural. Your habits align with your values. Your responses become steady. Your mind remains clear even in complex situations. This state allows you to move through life with confidence and purpose. Clarity, peace, and growth are not distant goals. They are built through daily practice. Each decision you make contributes to your state of mind. Choose actions that support stability and improvement. Continue refining your approach. Stay aware, stay disciplined, and stay committed. This path leads to a life that is balanced, purposeful, and grounded in understanding.